Hey, just checking back in with you. How is everything today? That's great, sir. I see you've had a great helping of Kamen Rider Build, Kamen Rider Gav, and even a small little sample of Kamen Rider Gachon, right? Well, I'd like to just give you your build now ahead of time, and also we'd love to give you a small little sample of what we've been cooking up recently. Kamen Rider as a franchise is one that I am a novice in. I just started watching it a few years ago, and recently I finished Build, and I just started Gav, and on TikTok I found a couple of videos talking about this weird masterpiece of a film that was made by the same man who did Evangelion and also Shin Godzilla. And as a fan of those famous 10 minutes of Shin Godzilla, I was like, okay, let's see what he did. And after watching it, I found myself in love with the film, mainly because of one scene, which I'll talk about later on in the video, but the rest of the film, however, was a bit different to me because I know I wasn't the intended audience. I didn't grow up watching the original show. I watched Power Rangers or random crap like Wildcrats or just PBS Kids. So for me, I wasn't familiar with the 1971 show, but after watching a few episodes, I could see the glimmers of the references and the homages that were made in this film. But overall, trying to cram 40 or 50 episodes into a 2-hour film is an impossible task, and in this video, I will talk about if it was successful or if it was a failure. So this video will be split into 4 parts, being the plot, the music, the effects, and of course, overall the summary, which is basically just my thoughts on it. Now, I won't be biased or anything like that. I will say everything up front, and I'll try my best to make it. And yes, I just wrote it all down on a piece of paper, so I'll remember the 4 things that I talked about, which is kind of dumb now that I think about it, that the 4th one is just a summary, even though I had plot there. Okay, cross out the 4th one. Okay, the 4th one will not be summary. The 4th one, let's see, we got plot, movie, effects. You're going to listen to me, I'm not taking this out. Plot, music, effects. The 4th one should probably be... I don't really know what the 4th one should be. Maybe toys? Should I do toys? You know, I'll just make it other, where I could just talk about anything else, like the acting or the props. Yeah, just make it acting. Acting, other. Just other. There we go. So we'll start off with the first one, which is... I know it's shocking, I'm not going to do plot first, but hear me out for a second. When watching the movie, the first thing that stood out to me was immediately the soundtrack. Before watching the film, I saw a trailer on YouTube, which I'll find a way to show that trailer, where it was comparing it to the original 1971 show. And in it, they played the classic theme of the 1971. I can't play it, sadly, due to... Yeah, I'm going to get copyrighted. I'm going to get probably struck off the face of the earth if I have even the balls to play a second of it. But the soundtrack immediately struck me because the songs and the sound of him henching of Hongo, henching, was just enough to make me get very excited anytime a fight scene or any scene in particular. And the soundtrack as a whole was a very standout part. And I feel like covering it first will be a good way to, one, get the most positives out quickly before I discuss the plot and all of its pieces, but also so I can start off, just as the movie did, start off with a bang and then slowly delve into the movie. So let's first start off with the one song that made the whole movie for me. Sadly, I would be screaming at this moment, but currently I'm sitting in a parking lot in front of Walmart, and I'm already getting weird looks while doing this video. So you're not going to hear me scream, but see, I would play voice clips of me screaming, but then you would have to hear, like, yeah, that'd be a lot. So maybe I'll put it in, maybe not. I'll probably just make a separate video of me just screaming over this song. Probably make like a hour-long video of me just screaming over how awesome, I almost cussed there, how awesome that song is. But the soundtrack for Shin Kamen Rider is just like this, to be honest. Like, when he's doing Rider Kick, you get this upbeat song that plays that instantly gets you hyped for when he does the spin and then he does the kick on Spider Og, or whenever he kicks Bad Og. The soundtrack genuinely makes every moment more impactful, like the fight with the Butterfly Og, or even just simple conversations that are heartfelt. It just gives the movie more meaning. And one thing that also the soundtrack does is, which is a little fact that I learned after watching the film, was it's made with certain songs sung by Lotus Juice. Now, if you are outside the anime community, video game community, you may not know who Lotus Juice is, but for people who are in the anime and video game community, Lotus Juice is a Japanese artist who helped with lots of songs from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or for people who play video games, from the Persona series, mainly the Persona 3 Reload songs. A lot of songs like It's Going Down Now, or, well, technically it's, people call it Disturbing the Peace, but yeah, It's Going Down Now. And it's really amazing how, at first when I watched the movie, I thought I recognized him from the Henshin song, and it was ironic that right after the movie I was like, yeah, this is the best song in the whole movie, because it's the scene, like, just the build up to the scene. And I'm going to show a clip of the scene in a bit and then play with the sound effects, just so you can understand the impact of the Henshin scene. And to be honest, if I could, and I may do this someday, just a whole video about the soundtrack, because to be honest, the best part of this movie is the first 20 minutes of the movie is the best part. Because the soundtrack, it builds up the tension, you get excited. Spider Og is so intimidating. Spider Og, I love his depiction of I hate humans, and give me pleasure from this. I love Spider Og, his design, and overall his aesthetic, and this is kind of seeping more into other, but the soundtrack is what makes this scene so memorable. Like, the final battle in the movie, I remember a lot because of the fucking choir that plays while Hongo is fighting Butterfly Og, and it just works. And this is probably why the soundtrack to me is the biggest highlight of the movie, and why it was first, is because it makes the movie. And I'll quickly, after I finish this section, just play different songs with the scenes so you can understand. Alright, so a little funny joke. This is a future TGI saying this real quick. This is editor TGI. I got a copyright strike for the other scenes I was going to use. I was going to do the scene of Spider Og and his theme, and then I was going to do Wasp Og, and I was going to do Bad Ops thing, but I got a copyright strike because of it, so instead I'll just leave it with, well, the best example of how the soundtrack impacts the movie. And I'm going to make sure that for the rest of the scenes in the movie, I'll make sure to do better with copyright strikes, because I don't want the video to be negatively impacted from me not knowing how to do fairies properly, because I don't want to get smited off off of the earth. So this will be the end of part 1 of this video. Part 2 and 3 and 4 will come out soon. I did soundtrack first because soundtrack is, of course, the thing I was the most enthusiastic about. So this will be the end of the video, and you can just click off now if you want, or you can just listen to me yap for however long I'm gonna yap. But yeah, I'm loving this project already a lot more. I was gonna do Tintin originally, but I found it a lot harder to find the basic source material than it is with this, because with Tintin I would have to go back to where I was, where I was from when I was a kid to find the book. So with Kamen Rider, it's very fun to like look back on this era of television that I didn't grow up with, and just to see this love project on full scale. And I really love just Kamen Rider as a franchise, but also this movie I have a very fondness for. Well, probably it's just because I am so in love with that scene. But stay tuned for part 2, which I'll be discussing the plot and a bit of the special effects of the film. And then part 3 and 4, where I'll be going a deep dive into the special effects. And then part 4, which will be, of course, the other. So, thank you.